All right, so I want to start this video off with a quote from Kreia, my favorite Star Wars character. And she says, "Born of war that has, as always, taught the wrong lesson." And she's talking about the Jedi and the Sith, that the conflict between them has taught both factions the wrong lesson. And I think that's really important because as we go through life, we are learning lessons. They are imparted and implied to us through our experience, through our environment, through friends, through family, and through our culture. And I think this is really important because one of the things that we are taught is to trust ourselves. You should believe in yourself. And I believe that's true, but I think that this has been hijacked in such a way that it becomes detrimental. And I think it's been hijacked by the self-help industry, which is a bunch of bullshit. They're not there to self-help you. They're there to help their bank account through you. So I think a lot of wise people throughout history have recognized that there is a need for the middle road. Buddha, Socrates, it just makes sense. Get rid of excess, get rid of diminishment, and find the middle road. So we're going to do that with doubt. So my goal is to help you understand how to constructively doubt yourself. Because if you're having ego problems, not ego problems, that's good to have ego. No, not good to have ego problems. What I'm saying is if you have self-esteem issues, you should believe in yourself, brother. Have faith, brother. You should. You're a human being. Your potential is, God, it's almost infinite. Compared to animals, it's incredible what you can do. All that aside, I want you to understand the way to use doubt as not cutting yourself with it like, you know, you do with Yoshimitsu, right? Like, I used to go to Pizza Hut with it was Mazio's. It's Mazio's. I keep saying that. It was Mazio's, and we would go to the buffet after church, and I would go play Tekken, and I would have Yoshimitsu, only because I loved making him stab himself, commit seppuku, and I didn't realize that the technique went further from that. Like, you did that, and then you did some other stuff, and you gained health back, and then you did damage to your opponent. So if you're using doubt like that, where you're just committing seppuku and harming yourself, that's not what I'm getting at. There's another part of the technique in which you are able to inflict damage on badly held beliefs within you, right? And then you gain from that. So, that being aside, all right, here's my personal story. So as I was growing up, I was always well fed, but extremely picky. Like, I was a chicken nuggets and fries kind of guy. My mom, God bless her, she really, really tried hard to make sure that I was fed well and I was taken care of. Like, to the point that she weighed 130 pounds, right? I think 130 pounds. I'm pretty sure. Soaking wet, and she's a pretty thin person. And when she was pregnant with me, she like ballooned up to 200 pounds because she was like eating all these nutriently dense foods and like making sure that she packed her body with as much nutrients and vitamins and minerals and like just good food to give me the best chance at starting life. And so there's a whole incident with a like sugarless cake that maybe I'll do that lore video, you know, personal lore, some other time with her on. So, excuse me. So the problem becomes this. As a toddler, I'm spending a lot of time with my aunt and my grandma on my dad's side, who frequently went to McDonald's and would eat fast food all the time. So I start to eat fast food all the time because I'm with them. This becomes a problem because I become addicted to chicken nuggets and fries. They're so good. Compounding this is the fact that they would give me their leftover fries. So they would get like large fries, and they saw that I loved fries and they weren't eating all their fries. And they'd be like, "Oh yes, here, Christopher, you can have our fries." Wasn't malicious, but there was harm done. Because I started to internalize a lesson of eating to excess because I loved that food. I loved the taste, the salt, and the carbs. God, it was so good. It was everything. And I internalized a very bad lesson of learning to eat to excess. So in a way, you could say I started this character arc. And by the way, I love the fact that the internet has started to go, is this their villain arc? Is this their training arc? Is this their redemption arc? That to me is so awesome, because I really do think that stories help to encapsulate the absurdity of life and to allow us to create meaning. All that aside. So I have learned this really bad lesson of eating to excess. Like every meal I am eating to the point that I'm stuffed. And a lot of meals are then even pushing to the point of it's hard to breathe because my stomach is so swollen with food that it's pushing up on my diaphragm. So to breathe deep pushes on my diaphragm and pushes on my stomach, and that hurts. And so I've learned a very terrible lesson. So over the decades, this habit compounds and it leads to me gaining weight, because as you know, as you become an adult, you start to slow down. As a kid, I'm running outside for 8 hours. Then we go inside and play video games for 8 hours. Like, life was good. It was awesome. Sorry, that was me, not you. And so I tried to... I realized where I was. So part of the problem is that my ADD fueled my desire for sugary, carb-laden foods. And I never learned how to do self-regulation or self-control. And we didn't know a lot about ADD back then. And so I don't want to use it as a crutch, because my ADD does amazing things. My mind does incredible things that seem to amaze people whose minds don't work this way. And so that's great. I just need to use ADD as a wrench to tighten the system instead of throwing the goddamn wrench into the system. I don't know why I do it, but damn it, it happens. And so as I'm getting older, right? So in 8th grade, I drop all the baby weight. Because I was never really that fat. I was a little chunky as a kid. But I dropped the weight because, I'm a teenager and I'm doing football and I'm really pushing myself to work out and all that. Again, if you heard that, that was me, not you. Sorry. I'm really pushing myself and it's easy to burn weight. And I'm still eating to excess. Fantastic. So I have some misguided attempts. So I go through this arc of these are the misguided attempts to fix the problem. So at one point, we go to Cece's a lot, and God, I love Cece's. That is one of the best buffets in the world. You can fight me. And so I go to Cece's and I think, I'll stop eating the crust because the crust is pure bread. And even though I love the pure bread, it's not the best for me. So Chris, my man, here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to not eat the bread, eat only the slice of pizza that has the cheese and the Canadian bacon and the Alfredo sauce. Again, sorry, that's me, not you. I have not heard from anyone all day, and now I'm hearing from everyone all day. Apologies. So I take the crust and I start setting them on the side. Problem is that when you would look at this, you'd see these mountainous plates of crust, and I'm eating 20, 30 slices of pizza. I'm definitely getting my money's worth, but at the detriment of my health. So we get to my mid-20s, early to mid-20s, when I ended up divorcing my wife. And yes, I do mean my wife, my current wife, because unfortunately at that time we were just not mature. We had not become the kind of adults that we needed to be. And unfortunately, now we have 3 kids, and those 3 kids have to live in a world where they're growing up as their parents are growing up. And, it is what it is. And it's unfortunate, it's sad, but again, it is what it is. So I'm kind of depressed. I'm really depressed, and I can see it now. I'm depressed. I'm stressed out. I'm now raising these 3 kids. I've lost the woman that I love through some of my own choices, through other choices that happened outside of my control. And so I'm working at a mattress store with my friend, and there's a pizza store next door. And I am going to that, spending $10 for a large pizza and large pepperoni pizza, and I'm taking it next door and I'm eating the entire damn pizza for lunch. the entire damn pizza. Jesus, what a terrible lesson. So I'm eating it every day. And in the point, like, I got to a place where I am struggling to stay awake. Like, I cannot make it fully through the day without being exhausted and tired because my health had been absolutely wrecked, which is crazy because I am always high energy. So it's a mattress store. So I'm sleeping on the beds while he's out because there's a lot of times that I would just run the store by myself. I'm sleeping on the beds and customers are walking in. I'm like, oh, hello, how can I help you? And they're like, bro, that's a really good advertisement. I'm like, thanks, my guy. I'm totally not doing this because I've wrecked my health with a terrible, poor life decision that I don't even know is there yet, right? Because I'm assuming that this is how everyone does it. Everyone eats to the point of oversatiation, which is, in a way, it's really terrifying to me that this is the case because what other terrible decisions or lessons that have been imparted to me through experience and through life and my culture and friends and family, what are these lessons that I've learned that are terrible, that are still eating me away bit by bit inside, that are like serving to be the instrument of my destruction? That really bothers me because it's like, I don't know that they're there. Anyways. So, I'm at a terrible point in my life. And so I realized at some point too along the way that I have this deep-seated fear. Looking back on it, I recognized that the lesson of eating to excess also became a fear of not eating. It's weird. It makes sense though. There's kind of a sort of logical, emotional connection that can be made there. But going back to like when I'm 18, I remember one time going to the pantry, the family's having a hard time, mom's trying to make ends meet. And I'm a young man, I'm still trying to figure out how to do really anything. And so I open the door, I look in, none of the food that I like. So I decide I'm going to go to Dollar General and I am going to write a bad faith check. Do not have the $15. Don't know where I'm going to get the $15 from, but I write this bad faith check for junk food, right? So like mac and cheese or some BS like that. And then I go home. And that ended up being a $275 lesson of why we don't do that, even though I knew not to do that. But the fear of not being able to eat overrode my good sense. Again, terrifying. So I realized I have this fear of going out without food, which, again, don't know that it's there. And it's also, there was a fear of not feeling excessively full. Like, I thought that was a normal thing that people did, which is, again, that's so fucking crazy. So anyways, so I get to this is my redemption arc. Is that, intermittent fasting becomes this new kind of fad. The results are shocking. People are changing their lives. I saw Thomas DeLauer and I was like, oh, this is a great idea. I should try this. And there's like hesitation up front. I'm like, God, I can go without eating a meal. And I'm like, well, let's start with pushing it by 15 minutes. So I'm normally up. I eat at 8:30 in the morning. And so it's like, okay, we'll eat at 8:45. Shockingly enough, even though I had never missed a meal in my life, my family had done good by me, always trying to make sure that I never went without. Shockingly enough, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can skip breakfast. With a short period of time, I'm like, oh, I can go to one meal a day. And eventually I succeeded in a 3-day fast. It was like, I had skipped breakfast and I said, let's go through lunch. I'm not really hungry at dinner. And I was being active and all of a sudden I'm like, well, shit, let's just go on a fast. And bam, I end up in this 3-day fast and I'm like, hot damn, this is awesome. And I feel really good. Like, I remember going to church and in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, I can fall asleep. I'm like, I can't keep my eyes awake. I'm on the praise and worship team. I do the guitar and I'm like up there and I'm doing the thing I love, playing the lead guitar, and I'm ripping out solos and riffs and all this stuff. And then it's like, I go sit down and I'm like, yep, praise God, amen, whatever, right? And so I can't stay awake. All of a sudden, I have skipped breakfast and I am awake. I'm alert. I am attentive. I can remember and like what's going on, what the sermon was about, all this stuff, right? Like my life greatly improved. And it even took like, God, until the last year. So I'm doing this at 25, 26. And then until the last year, so almost 10 years, it took me to realize the bad lessons that I had learned, which is crazy. It took me learning a new good lesson to see that I had learned bad lessons. So, you know, the original time that I did it is that I just cut out all the bad food and I fasted. So it was like no sugar, no carbs, no dairy, right? And it was partly to see if I was having kind of a reaction to any of these things and was messing me up. And I was like dealing with brain fog all the time. And it was just eating to the excess. It was crazy. I'm surprised I'm not diabetic. It's insane. So learn these good lessons. Now, on the same hand, I'm still dealing with having to learn to eat good food. And I'm much better. I'm not eating just like chicken nuggets and french fries. Like I remember the time when I ate Taco Bell and my mom was like so impressed that I tried it with lettuce and onion. And so now I get everything with lettuce and onion because I love lettuce and onion on my stuff. And so I've greatly improved. Now it's a matter of just eating good food, fasting, and being active. And I'm walking all the time now. You know, I'm weighed in today at about 283, Jesus, 263, even though I was up to 285. So I'm hovering right around the 260 mark, which is good. It's good. I'm losing the weight bit by bit. And it's because now I'm taking in more nuanced lessons like, hey, we can fast, but we can't just eat garbage all the time. We have to fast and eat good food. And we can have cheat days, but we can't, cheat on the non-cheat days. That's, I'm still having a problem with that. Cause like I mentioned with my ADD, if I go to Dollar General and I pick up a $1 deal of Milk Duds, those bitches ain't gonna last for the night. And if they're not even gonna last for the night, they aren't gonna last for an hour. Now I've gotten a little better about that, but I think I've gotten one that I like ate halfway, and then the next day I was like, I'm so proud of myself, and then I'm like eating the crap out of it, and I'm like, I was so proud of myself. So anyways, all that being aside, here's where we're at. We're at to doubt, and why I think it's really important. So there's this line in the poem If by Rudyard Kipling, and I love that poem, such a great poem. But the line that I want to focus on is that he says, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but leave allowances for their doubting too. And I think this is really important because it strikes the middle road, the golden mean, the balance between trusting yourself and doubting yourself. And I think what you really want to do is allow for constructive doubt. And I think that's important, is it's constructive. Now, this whole video came from the idea of reading Dick Hart's Rules for the Directions of the Mind. I'll leave a link in the comments or the comment section in the description below if you want it. It's like a 100-page book. It's fucking awesome. It's going to tell you how to structure the way that you think, how to do investigations, how to really consider ideas, and build in the intricacies and complexities of thought, right? Like, it's really just good rules for learning. And I'm building my own methodology, the 2,500-year-old geometry video that is going to be coming soon, that actually makes you a better thinker, but also a better world builder. So I was reading through it and I get to the end. The 14th rule is like why you should have systematic doubt. Like, you should go back everything that you've done and you should doubt it and see if it actually makes sense. And so I thought, God, that's fucking brilliant. Like, we do all this stuff to make sure that our thinking is rigorous and that we're going logically step by step, and we get to the end and we're so proud. But like, there's this final hidden step that really makes you a genius, that makes you just a cut above the rest. and it's systematic doubt. It's that you go back and you examine everything and you go, is this really right? That's what makes you I think makes you really smart, because I watch people like Jordan Peterson, who has really good things to say, but I don't think that he has this systematic doubt, because there are things in there that you watch, especially when he talks about like communism, Karl Marx. If you have read any of that stuff, he has no fucking clue what he's talking about. Like when he did that whole argument with the philosophers, if you knew what was being talked about, like you had any knowledge, he looked like a clown. He looked like a student who did not prepare for the test. Yeah, it was bad. But again, the guy has really great things to say. I'm not saying, I'm not dissing him in regards to the totality of his knowledge, but I'm saying systematic doubt can make you such a better person. In a way, it could propel your character arc. It could take you from having learned a really bad lesson, like me, in eating excessive amounts of food, to suddenly being able to go, wait a minute, this isn't right. This behavior, this idea, this belief that I've held in me, that I have built my life around, maybe it's wrong. And I do think that's one of the problems of modern Christianity, is that we don't allow doubt into our settings, that we see church as only a place to learn and not to question, because the most valuable part of learning is questioning. And if you don't allow that, you are not allowing people to grow. You're just preaching dogma, not faith. So that being said, systematic doubt is going to help you to challenge the lessons that you've learned in your life. It's going to take the behaviors that you do automatically, and when you question them and go, why the hell am I doing this? Why do I believe this? Why do I act this way? It's going to allow you to take that and go, with doubt, to plant a seed of a new behavior, a new life, a new potential future for yourself. Behaviors and lessons are built from what we've learned. And growing up, we learn a lot of lessons, and a lot of them don't serve us as adults. Doubting can help break the chains of bad decisions, of bad lessons, of bad behaviors. And I think that is the way that you get personal growth, is to challenge yourself. Don't doubt yourself being like, oh yeah, I don't think you can do it. No, challenge yourself and be like, how can I be the best person possible? How can I be 1% better today? What is the one thing that I could change that alters the trajectory of my future? Because remember, if you can just change 1 degree, give it enough time, you'll be miles away from where you started, or where you were going to hit where you started, right? So if you were here, you're now over here by 1 degree. Give it enough time, okay? Anyways, that's all I got. I hope this was useful. I hope this is beneficial. If you have any comments, again, you know the algorithm thing, right? Leave them in the comment section below. If this was insightful, if you have your own insights, because maybe you see something, or there was a lesson in your life that you can talk about that will end up helping other people. And in that way, you've changed the world. So that's all I got. I hope you have a great day. And remember, you are a human being with almost near limitless potential. You are caught somewhere between beast and divine, and you should reach to try to be something that would be inspiring. So that's all I got. Have a great day. Peace.